Guys, a little bit of an obvious one, balconies. When you're a landlord renting a property, when you're a tenant renting a property, when you're an owner occupier buying a property, when you're selling it, the whole balcony phenomenon we're going to talk about today as real estate agents. It's real. Do you have a balcony? Do you have not a balcony? And where the value points are. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Cleo,
Good
with you,
morning.
expert property manager of 20 years. How are you?
I was waiting for my intro. You've put me down 20 years now, so maybe a bit younger. I'm
20
good.
years.
I'm coming to you live from my balcony.
Wow, how good's that? The real thing. I'm. This is a a
Oh
puzzling,
wow.
puzzling one today. We're talking about balconies on apartments. I guess even houses. The value of them. To go back, Cleo, to the 30s, 50s, 60s, they didn't really value them at all. What happened there?
I'm not too sure as to how the value back then was considered. I think most dwellings or people, could probably afford a house and the picket fence and the backyard, the Aussie dream. The tenants living in, unit blocks wasn't as many as what it is today. So maybe that's why the balcony wasn't so prevalent. But being here on the beaches, a lot of our properties are coastal. So if you do have a balcony with a view, that would be considered reasoning behind it. You can see the ocean from your property, from your lounge, from your kitchen. But ideally, when you think of a balcony setting on the beaches, you want to see the beach. So there's those iconic units in Ocean Street, Narrabeen, where you could drop your towel off and it's literally on the sand at the beach.
That's just
Um,
phenomenal.
it is. That type of balcony, I would consider having value, lots of value, obviously. That's sort of, I would say, probably half the reason you'd buy an apartment or own an apartment right on the beach with the balconies for that, outlook.
Yeah. And I think in the back in the sort of 40s, 50s, and 60s, engineering probably wasn't quite there to cantilever and do balconies quite as good as they can, reinforcement and concrete like they do now. And I also think back then it was probably an apartment was considered workers' accommodation, where if you were anyone or someone, you had a house, and if you were looking just to get in, get out, work hard, then you didn't need niceties like outdoors. So I think that's changed. And now that we've moved over to apartment living in the 70s and onwards, there's been an emphasis. We've even gotten bigger with the balconies from the 70s and 80s into the 90s. And then I think it sort of pulled back a little bit. So the balconies was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But a balcony for a good part of 30 or 40 years was sort of 1 meter wide by 3 or 4 meters in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, some of the balconies in some of the older style 70s properties, yeah, all you can really put out there is your clothesline to dry your clothes, the indoor
Yeah.
clothesline. That's what they're for. And a cigarette, exactly. So now with all the new strata bylaws, even smokers can't really utilize the balcony because of smoke drift. So what is the point? If you
Yeah.
have to walk down to the street to have a cigarette, then why not rent a place 50, 60, $70 cheaper without a balcony? What do you need it for? You
It's
know, uh,
interesting.
yeah.
Then we've moved into a thing called now enclosed balconies, which we used to call sunrooms, but now we call them winter gardens, or they're waterproof. They're a balcony, but they act more like a room than they do a balcony, but they can be a balcony. So we're starting to see these sort of. And people are. It's interesting. How are they renting these? Something with a balcony or not with a balcony, Cleo? Is there is it proportionate or is it disproportionate when you've got a balcony as to what you rent you're getting from what you're buying, if that makes
I
sense.
think
Big
I think
question.
it's proportionate, definitely. The enclosed balcony or winter garden is a balcony in itself, but it doesn't have that open air element. It has louver windows all the way around, so it is different when it comes to things like airflow. The main consideration with a winter garden compared to balcony is the ability to have aircon in your apartment. Your bylaws
Ooh.
state you have to have an outdoor unit, which has outdoor elements, airflow, all of that. So to have a unit in a winter garden, you're not able to. So you can't have aircon in that apartment. Whereas an apartment with an outdoor balcony usually can have an AC. So exactly, especially in the hotter months, you want to have that option. So I guess that's why they call it a winter garden, because it's nice in winter, but when you need it in summer, the only downside for that is that you can't have aircon. Although um, they are still very, very sought after in this market. A lot of tenants like that option of being able to have a spare room when someone comes to visit from overseas, turning it into a kids' play area where it's safe and secure at the same time. Without worrying about balcony heights, balustrades, and all that sort of stuff.
In our area, core market, Northern Beaches. Let's just choose DY. Let's think of a 70s unit, 80s unit with a little balcony and one without a balcony. Well, okay, first question. What would an average unit in DY rent for with a balcony?
Two bedroom right now, you're looking between 820 and 870 with the balcony.
Take a balcony off, no balcony.
You going below that eight, you go, somewhere 760, 790, something like that. I have one in Cooloree at the moment, a little one better. And that's, typically rented $100 a week less because it has no balcony.
Oof. So 50 to 100 bucks
But
for
it's
a two
ground
better
floor.
or one better off.
Yeah, something like that. And it is dependent on the size and obviously the outlook, of course. You're not gonna you've got to consider the outlook. Like if it's looking at the car park, the balcony, or you've got a nice outlook, it does
Yep.
also play a factor. The view. So it's
So,
interesting.
and being in sales, I'd probably put 50 to 100 grand on for a balcony. So it's probably proportionate that, if you buy it for more, you will rent it for more. If you buy it for less, you'll rent it for less.
Yes,
So as an investor, probably doesn't matter.
I think you should consider your strata plan and the balcony works that may need to happen in the future. So if you have a look around the Northern Beaches and you see a whole bunch of scaffolding around a unit block, it's because there's balconies being redone, there's concrete cancer, there's waterproofing. Most of the work that happens in a strata plan is balcony related. I would say probably 80%. And it can be a special levy that'll come your way. So you need to look at the age of the build,
I'm
how
feeling a
how
little
the
bit of
back.
I'm feeling a little bit of hostility here.
It is a bit of a personal matter for me, but I do have a property where all the balconies are being redone at the moment, and it's been a very, very big expense. Um, will it pay off? I think once they're all done, I will probably be able to sell it for more because the balconies will be brand new and it'll all be done and everything else is done and compliant. But it's been a hard slog to get there, I must say. Terrace balconies as well, they're a big thing. So the waterproofing they did in the 70s, like you said, and 80s, isn't at the standard that they do now. I think typically you would have to re-waterproof a terrace maybe 2 or 3 times in a course of like 30 years. The flashing goes, the tiles are compromised, and it can then lead into issues for the units below. Planter boxes on balconies, they were also a big thing that's cost money. I do remember all the cases that I've had where planter boxes were not waterproofed properly all around the unit block and they have to be done again. But yeah, look, with the newer builds, it's a lot safer, and yeah, I do like the idea of replacing the balcony with an outdoor shared space like a rooftop terrace. The Carlisle has a beautiful rooftop terrace, so everyone can enjoy, having a balcony. You can have all your friends and family and entertain up there in a big space, barbecue, outdoor setting, whatever. So I don't know. Do you really need a balcony?
Well, I think also there's merits as an investor if you're worried about potential strata levies. Balconies can and waterproofing can bring you undone with some serious costs because even if you don't have a balcony on your unit, but everyone else has a balcony on your unit, being the nature of strata, when they have to get replaced, you're going to be putting your hand in your pocket to fix it. So I think those donkey old 40s, 50s, and 60s red brickers, blue brickers that don't have any balconies, that are not that appealing because you think, oh, I really would like a balcony if I was going to live here, which you're not because you're an investor. Have a think about buying something without a balcony because it's definitely going to be over a long term period. Zero maintenance with waterproofing and because they just seal up like or not like an ice cube, which doesn't
Yeah.
really seal, but
But
yeah, but they just it's just like it's
it's your
much
internal
easier.
space. I understand what you're saying. Strata
Yeah,
own the common property. So a balcony is not really yours anyway. But when you've got a unit without a balcony, yeah, it's all your internal space. That's it. If you
yeah,
want to
and you're
let your kitchen
proportionately buying it for
crumble down,
less,
you can.
renting it for less. Your return on your money is probably the same. So
Long term, yeah.
think about your balconies, guys and girls. Times have definitely changed with balconies. A great topic to bring up, and I love it when you mentioned it because it was so obvious. It's like, of course, we need to talk about this: how buyers respond, how sellers respond, how tenants respond, how agents respond to balconies. It's a thing. It's a value point that needs to be discussed.
Yes, I'm sure we could probably cover it again and add a lot more stuff on balconies. I was just saying to my son last night, I was like, well, everyone's inside watching Netflix, doing the family thing. No one's really outside. We use our balcony for our pet rabbit, storing stuff, and in winter especially, we don't come out here. So
You're not out there. There you go.
no.
Balcony talk. Thank you very much, Claire. Have a great day. Oh,
All
we've got a
right, say
guest.
bye. Yes, say bye. We've come out on
Oh,
the
good
balcony.
morning. How are you? Where's your shoes?
Yeah, you can't come out here. That's a no-no. Wog mum, kid without shoes on. She's
No,
gonna get a
no.
smack. No.
And the balcony, that balcony needs a bit of upcoat, doesn't it?
It does. That's why I didn't want to show it too much. Bye, guys.
All right, let's take care.
Bye.
What's she saying? What's the
Cut her
question?
off.
What's the question? What's the
What's
question
the
of the
question?
morning?
What's the question? Quickly.
Zena let the bunny inside.
He's let the bunny inside. All right, we'll have to go get the bunny that Zeno's left inside. Bye, guys.
Yeah, take care.